insults hurt you more than you think. Have you ever had someone throw a casual insult at you, and for some reason, you couldn't stop thinking about it for days? It's strange, right? Someone says, "You're so lazy," or "You're not that smart," and suddenly, you feel it echoing inside your head. The truth is, insults hurt you much more than you think. And not just emotionally, they change the way your brain works, how you see yourself, and even how you show up in relationships and at work. Today, I'm going to break down why insults feel so painful, how modern psychology explains it, and, most importantly, what Stoic philosophy teaches us about taking back control. Part 1: Why insults cut so deep. Here's the surprising truth. Your brain reacts to insults almost the same way it reacts to physical pain. Neuroscientists have found that when someone hurls an insult at you, the anterior cingulate cortex, the part of your brain that lights up when you burn your hand or stub your toe, activates. In other words, an insult doesn't just bruise your ego. It literally hurts in your brain. And that's why you remember insults far more vividly than compliments. Think about it. Your boss praises you for doing a great job on a project. But if the same boss makes a sarcastic remark about you being slow, that's what sticks. Psychologists call this the negativity bias. Your brain is wired to pay more attention to threats than to praise. Thousands of years ago, that bias kept our ancestors alive. But today, it just keeps us stuck replaying insults in our heads. And that's why insults stick. Harder than praise. Harder than love. Sometimes, even harder than the truth. Be honest. When was the last time you replayed an insult in your head for days? Was it last week? Last month? Maybe even years ago? Part 2: Real-life example. Let me give you a real example. Imagine you're at a family gathering, and your uncle says in front of everyone, "Wow, you still haven't settled down? Maybe nobody wants to deal with you." Everyone laughs awkwardly. You fake a smile, but inside, it feels like someone just punched you in the chest. You laugh it off, but inside, you're bleeding. Nobody sees it, nobody hears it, but you feel it, again and again. Now here's the crazy part. 10 compliments you got that night, from how nice you look to how successful you've been at work, suddenly vanish. The only thing you remember the next day is that one cutting remark. That's how powerful insults are. They hijack your attention and plant themselves like seeds in your memory. Let me share a story. David was a young professional working at a big company. He worked hard, stayed late, and wanted to prove himself. But there was one colleague, always sharp-tongued, who never missed a chance to cut him down. At meetings, if David shared an idea, this colleague would smirk and say, "That's not very smart." If David made a small mistake, the comment was, "Of course you messed it up, you always do." At first, David brushed it off, but over time, those words started living rent-free in his head. He replayed them on his commute, at night before bed, even when he was with friends. Slowly, he stopped speaking up in meetings. He doubted his abilities, and eventually, he started to believe the insults. This is what psychologists warn about. Insults don't just sting in the moment, they sneak into your identity. And for David, that one toxic voice became his own inner voice. Part 3: Why insults shape identity. But it goes deeper. Insults don't just hurt in the moment. If you hear them often enough, They can shape your identity. Think back to childhood. Maybe you had a teacher who called you stupid, or classmates who mocked your looks. Over time, those insults can sneak into your self-talk. You start repeating them silently to yourself. Maybe I am stupid. Maybe I am ugly. Let me ask you, do you remember a label from childhood that still lingers in your mind today? That inner voice then becomes the script you live by. One word, one label, that's all it takes to chain you for decades. Invisible scars, louder than any wound. This is why many adults still carry wounds from things said to them decades ago. Words are invisible scars, but scars that shape how we love, how we work, and even how confident we feel walking into a room. Part 4: The Stoic Response. So, what can we do about it? This is where Stoic philosophy is incredibly powerful. Epictetus, the Stoic slave-turned-teacher, once said, "Remember, it is not the person who insults you who harms you, but your opinion about the insult." When David first discovered Stoicism, he realized something powerful. Those insults were just words. He was the one giving them meaning. It's not the insult, it's your meaning. That's where your power lives. What he meant is, the insult itself is just sound waves in the air. It only becomes powerful when you choose to give it meaning. Think about it. If someone insults you in a language you don't understand, do you feel hurt? Of course not. It's not the insult that stings, it's the interpretation you attach to it. Part 5: Practical Stoic Techniques. Here are 3 powerful Stoic techniques you can use the next time someone insults you. 1. Pause before reacting. Most people fire back or shut down immediately. Instead, pause. Give yourself 3 deep breaths. This disrupts the automatic emotional reaction and gives you space to choose your response. 2. Reframe the insult. Marcus Aurelius said, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't be harmed." If someone calls you lazy, you can reframe it as, "This person has no idea about the effort I put in." Their insult says more about them than about you. 3. Practice voluntary exposure. Seneca suggested imagining insults ahead of time. If you expect people to criticize you, then when it happens, you're not shocked, you're prepared. It's like emotional armor. The next time his colleague mocked him, David paused, took a breath, and reframed it. This says more about his insecurity than my worth. Suddenly, the sting was gone. Which of these techniques do you think would help you most the next time someone insults you? Part 6: Modern Psychology Meets Stoicism. Interestingly, modern psychology backs this up. Cognitive behavioral therapy, one of the most effective therapies today, teaches almost the same idea, that your interpretation of an event matters more than the event itself. If someone insults you, you can label it as proof that I'm worthless, or as evidence this person is insecure. The insult doesn't change, but your interpretation changes everything. Part 7: Final example. Picture this. 2 people get the exact same insult. Person A hears, "You're never going to succeed." He takes it personally, gets discouraged, and gives up on his goals. Person B hears the same words but thinks, "That's your opinion. Watch me prove you wrong." Same insult, 2 completely different outcomes. That's the power you have. The power to decide what meaning an insult will carry in your life. Same insult, 2 minds, 2 destinies. So tell me, which person are you more like right now? person A who crumbles, or person B who turns insults into fuel. So the next time someone insults you, remember, yes, insults hurt, often more than we realize. But their power doesn't come from the words, it comes from the meaning you give those words. And by practicing the Stoic mindset, you can turn insults from chains that hold you back into fuel that drives you forward. If this message resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. You never know, your share might be the reason they finally let go of an old wound. If you found this helpful, make sure to hit the subscribe button, because on this channel, we explore ancient wisdom and modern psychology to help you live with strength, clarity, and peace of mind. And one more thing, drop this video to a friend or family member who's been carrying an insult for too long. It might be the spark they need to finally break free. And let me leave you with this question. Right finger, what's the insult you've carried the longest in your life? And how might you reinterpret it today?